Get dunked on! Undertale. I don't even know if I have accurate words to describe it. If you haven't played it yet, then you definitely should consider it. But seriously, go try it now and stop watching this video if you have yet to play it. While up to this point, my YouTube focus has been on Nintendo, but I couldn't help but break from that pattern to make this video. Undertale reminded me of my own past in RPG development, and it definitely warmed my heart to relive a similar experience. But we may be dancing in spoiler land a bit, and I'd hate to be the one to ruin such a grand adventure for you. Undertale was a blast from the past for me. Although it is obviously relatively new, it drew back fond memories from my entire life's journey. The best way I can describe these things is with math, so I'll give it a whirl. Undertale equals the secret island of Dr. Quandary, plus the Nightmare Before Christmas, plus Mother 3. You might be saying, that doesn't make sense at all. And that's completely fine. But the feeling I got from the game initially reminded me of the semi-creepiness of Dr. Quandary's Island, with a cast of characters that could exist in Tim Burton's world, all to the tune of Mother 3's brilliance. I absolutely loved the characters in this game, but there were two in general that were dear to my heart. And that was the Skeletal brothers, Papyrus and Sans. Papyrus is the skeletal love child of Don Quixote and Boyer. With an explosive personality and drive for capturing humans, his humor shines in the world of Undertale. Even though he wants to become a knight, it seems he's more suited for spaghetti wrangling than actual knighthood. He is the more slender of the two brothers, and Sans is a bit more wide. Sans is quite the opposite of Papyrus though. In more than one way, he reminds me of Beryl from Nightmare Before Christmas, although he is a lot more sane and seems to have a great understanding of the world despite how lazy he appears. However, due to his knowledge, physique, and other qualities, it leads me to ponder about another question. Is Sans an actual skeleton? Or is he really a human in disguise? Now I know that may sound odd, but there are plenty of other people online discussing the same concept. There are a few qualities he has that are making people scratch their head and dive into the land of theories. For starters, Sans is a pretty plump skeleton. One could argue he is big-boned, but even then it wouldn't suffice as evidence as to why he is so wide in comparison to his brother. Even with the amount of ketchup he indulges, he still wouldn't gain any weight if he was truly just bones. But what is even more odd is the fact that his mouth doesn't seem to move at all when he talks, unlike his brother Papyrus and majority of the other characters in the game. This is where I really get the Beryl impression from, since in Nightmare Before Christmas, Beryl wore a skeleton mask that was always smiling. If he is truly Papyrus's brother, shouldn't their animations be similar? The more and more I see it, I just continuously think it is a mask. One could argue a mask wouldn't be able to wink, but neither could a skull. So for that point, I'd leave it up to debate with you guys and gals. Let me know what you think in the comments. However, something else that is important to analyze is that Sans is constantly breathing during your battle. For a skeleton, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, especially when his brother lacks this animation. While other characters in the game may have idle combat graphics, it almost seems like this was done intentionally for a greater purpose. He also sweats a great deal, but I believe that it's to show the intensity of the situation, as Papyrus does the same, especially while on the date with your character. The battle against Sans at the end of the genocide route is truly a challenging fight. After getting curb stomped several times, if you manage to make it through the 10-minute grueling fight, you still have to outsmart Sans' final move, which adds another 4 minutes or so to the battle. After delivering the final blow, something really interesting happens on screen. Sans begins to bleed. So how does a skeleton bleed exactly? Let's take a look at his clothes here for a second before diving into that, because his wardrobe, in some way, could hold many secrets about that. Now this part is hard to tell because certain people depict Sans with an undershirt beneath his hoodie, while others do not. What I see when I look at his sprites is a sternum and the surrounding ribs, while others may see an undershirt and the individual teeth of the zipper. However, the zipper teeth are exaggerated in size due to the detail and scale of the sprites. His walking sprites in-game are difficult as well, because from the side it looks like ribs, but from the front one could argue it is a white shirt. So, why is this important? Well, because if he was just bones, then the slash mark rightfully should have only showed up on the bones on his rib cage. The dagger would have cut through 2 or 3 ribs, assuming it was powerful enough to cut through bone. But the whole cut is bleeding, as if someone was cut entirely across the chest, through skin and muscle. People argue that this might very well be ketchup due to Sans' obsession with the condiment, but if this was the case, then his spine would be covered with ketchup on the front. In order to spit up blood by a torso wound, it needs to come up your neck, and if you lack a throat, then there is really no way to get it into your mouth unless it somehow splatters to the bottom of the skull. But if that was the case, it would surely splatter on the front of the neck bones too. Due to this, it would only make sense that the spine we see leading up to Sans' head isn't actually bone, but it is actually a costume in front of where his neck would be. And something is alive inside of it, because when Papyrus is killed, there is no blood. The death of each character does not match up at all, and this brings upon a whole new world of questions about Sans' true identity. Is he a human in a costume, or something entirely different? A counter-argument to this is shown in the Kickstarter's reward video, where Sans is enjoying a beverage, which then drains through his body, assuming somehow he didn't just spill it. I look at this as an outlier though, because it was during the earlier development of the game, and things could have switched by the time the game was released. That's my opinion though, because if this was the case, then this ketchup should have done the same thing immediately after consumption. This, again, is up for debate, so I would love to hear your viewpoint on it. I obviously could have missed things too. As more secrets come to light for this game, I'm sure we will hopefully get the answers we are looking for. Until then though, it is up to us as a community to bond together to uncover the secrets that still remain undiscovered. But, like most of my other videos, what you have to say is just as important as my thoughts. So, what do you think? Human or skeleton? Ketchup or blood? Donnie Darko's biggest wardrobe fan? Or, yeah. We saw things a lot faster collectively, so I'd definitely love to hear what your thoughts and speculations are about this topic and Undertale in general. So I insist, leave us a comment below. Thanks for tuning in for our skeletal speculation of Undertale. If you'd like to join us on our YouTube voyage and help us solve the mysteries of the gaming world, then the subscribe button is just what you're looking for. Thanks for watching, guys and gals, and until our next video, cheers. Before me stands a great landmark in the history of our beloved planet. I present to you a tricked out Nintendo 64 van.